Here we are, Wednesday, Long War Webcast. What's going on, guys? I am not Robbie B, but I am Juicy J, chilling tonight with my boys and homies, Kenny Boucher and Tim.
Yo, dog. Glad to be here.
It's nice to be back, fellas.
Yo, Robbie B is obviously fixing all the interwebs. He is tapped into the Matrix, full-fledged. He's got ports coming out of his back, everything else, taking care of all the issues that we have going on right now. Super big shout out and apology to everybody who can't access all the cool stuff that we got going on. Robbie B is like, yo, I can't eat, sleep, piss, shit, anything until this is fixed.
That's true.
Start calling him Tank from the Matrix.
I see the resemblance. So,
weren't those guys in the Matrix the ones who were born in real life so they couldn't plug into the Matrix?
No, Tank and Dozer were the brothers. Is that what it was?
Yeah, they're natural born, so they couldn't jack up since they were born in like the real world. So they could read the code.
Oh, that's right.
I probably haven't seen that movie in 15 years.
Yeah, so
yo, first off, Kenny hasn't either. He just never forgets anything.
I don't forget anything. I'm basically like an elephant.
Generational knowledge.
Yeah.
Man, before we jump in too much, I have to admit I sat up. It's about 3 a.m. I woke up and looked on Facebook, and I was so happy to see one of my boys shared The Rock Stone Cold Stunner, or excuse me, the People's Elbows mix. It was like 3 minutes of the People's Elbows, and let me just tell you what, it was the best 3 minutes of my life.
Dog, I'm obsessed with those videos on Instagram, and the Randy Orton RKO videos are ridiculous. Someone shared with me on my timeline recently this 10 years ago when the Attitude Era with Stone Cold was still in it, like some battle royale, and literally every who's who the superstar lineup gave each other their signature move, freaking Shane McMahon even hit someone with a chair. Then Kane shows up and chokeslams him. Then the Giant shows up and chokeslams him. Then Kurt Angle shows up and Olympic slams him. Then The Rock shows up and rock bottoms him. Then Stone Cold shows up and stuns him. Literally, it was 5 minutes. It was the most epic 5 minutes of my life.
Yeah, drool coming down either side of your lips like, oh my God, I need more.
Reminded me of the good old days.
Yep, when pimping was pimping. Man, the queue is filling up. Lamont checking in. What are you working on, dog? I always like to hear about it. Gabriel, what's happening? So, he couldn't chat last week, so I'm glad you're able to get down now. Zach, what's happening, man? Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, Zach, I've got 2 bits bags that I'm sending out tomorrow morning. I apologize that we missed over you, dog. Steve Bruley, my boy. Clay Cruz checking in. I know now that it's Sonic Gab, but as we know, it's Zangief for the rest of your life. That's literally what your name is, because that was the first thing that came to my head a couple weeks ago. Fallen Cypher, what's up, man? Yo, Fallen Cypher, it was good to see Fake Marshall.
The original, the original Marshall and Slim Shady, I think is what we're calling him now. Fake Marshall. I think they had a battle for who the true Marshall was.
The truest Marshall is? Well, it was good to see. Tell your brother when you see him again that I really appreciate him come out to my dad's thing. That was awesome to see him. So what's everybody up to? What's everybody working on tonight? I see Kenny's got the Wild Turkey 101 is what he's working on.
Yeah. We had a rough day yesterday, and I used it as an excuse to go over my weekly allotment in Wild Turkey, which was the server crash. Now there's a few more people in here. I'll mention it again. Probably mention it a few more times during the show, but the server's down. The Hall of Veterans is probably not working at this moment. It's probably giving you a login error or infinite login stream, something. You probably would have noticed it didn't even work yesterday. We've had some technical issues. We've been moving some stuff around, getting some more security involved, and shit happens. We apologize for the inconvenience, and we'll do everything we can to make it up with additional content for you guys. We are working on it, and we made a Matrix joke earlier. Rob B is literally jacked into his computer right now. He actually didn't even sleep last night. He's been working on this entire night, making sure all the functionalities are coming back. You're talking about a 6-year project that you have to bring back to life in one night.
Immediately.
And he's doing it. So that's why he's not here today.
He called in all the support. I had to get my gerbils up You know, that's how come my internet's not working as fast. I had to ship all my gerbils down to him or up to him, wherever. I'm running at only about a 2 hamster speed right now.
Yeah. Set up your TI-83 Texas.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, man, we're going to get a 40K here in a second. But, I went and saw the new Terminator.
Terminator Genesis?
Yeah, Genesis made me think of the T-800 or whatever it was that that Arnold is. And, I have to tell you, man, it's clutch. I really enjoyed it. I loved how they tied some old stuff together, brought some new stuff in. It was really good.
Then they bring the CG young Arnold in?
They did. Luckily, he died off pretty quick because he looked pretty bad.
Pretty well.
he was not looking, I'm going to tell you what, the true young Arnold would beat the shit out of this CG young Arnold. So here we go. So Sonic Gav is saying he's spending the night building drop pods for the ironclads. And, Calexis Bomb, I like that. Let me just tell you what, building a drop pod sucks.
Drop pods are the worst.
Yeah.
Tim, how many drop pods have you put together and not even put the center in?
So I got this. So I'll show you right here. So here's the first drop pod in my sequence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've got 2 more on my desk, and you can even see these glue marks.
Yep.
This bitch does not open, and it doesn't even have this crap inside of it.
Yep.
This shit is dead to me.
Dude, if you keep the inside stuff out, it comes together like a dream.
Yeah, it's like the easy model build.
One harness in that thing, and it's just like, it might as well. You wouldn't even think these things come together.
35-point models should not take me 3 days to build.
No, yeah. First off, here at Baylor at Tabletop Quality, we use the hot glue gun for that model.
Yeah, hot glue gun.
Hot glue gun.
Yeah, we straight up just put the top together and just hot glue all around the top and let it just drip, and whatever sticks.
Yo, speaking of hot glue, you guys see the new YouTube hater we got?
Yes.
I only mention these. I only mention these when they're especially good. If you notice over at the Long War page, I threw up a JPEG of the conversation. Thank you guys for your support and all the comments and sharing it. And also, feel free at any point to go over to YouTube and say whatever you want.
And also, feel free to come over to 703 Dover Street if your slapper is not broke. Because, dang, man, I tell you what.
No doubt. So I guess we got to decide what we want to talk about tonight. So Age of Sigmar has happened, and also new Dark Angels. So the problem we're having here in our heart is that we don't give a shit about fantasy because we're Warhammer 40K players.
True.
But there's some incredible stuff coming out of fantasy right now, some amazing pictures of some amazing models. So we're torn because there's some fantastic stuff coming out of there. And also we're torn because Dark Angels just fucking came out, and we haven't had an opportunity to talk about them since the new shit dropped. So we're going to have to talk about new Dark Angels and a little bit about Age of Sigmar. We have an expert coming on for the podcast recording after this. You may remember him, Austin, from our battle reports. He is, before there was 40K, there was fantasy for him. And he is a true fantasy player, and he's excited, and he's passionate. And we're going to drop some real stuff off on the podcast after this. So that means tomorrow you can hear some really in-depth Sigmar stuff. We will answer some questions because I think Tim's got a couple printouts and some stuff. So if you guys can flood the Q&A, hit us with any questions on the Sigmar, we'll kind of address those as we come. And I think maybe Tim has some interesting things to talk about. But before you guys start asking all those questions, let's talk about these Dark Angels because Juice has a Ravenwing army, and he was the last ride of the Ravenwing. We just did a battle report about them, and I want to ask Juice how he thinks his chances would be with the new stuff.
Yo, man, I'm definitely loving where it's at. Like, we went over some of the rumors last week. Well, actually, it wasn't even rumors. They were real. The book just wasn't in hand yet. Tim is going to confirm a lot of this stuff here in just a few minutes. But, man, I'm happy with the Dark Angels. Yo, to be honest, I was a Dark Angels player back in the day. You know, a lot of people say that stuff and whatever, but, yo, the Army's proven. And I'm really happy where some of the cool rules and some of the stuff is where they can get since they came since they came after the Space Marine book. So I'm happy as shit about it.
Yeah,
so before we jump in, I just want to clear some of these Q&As about everybody's doing with their night. And Famous Amos, I haven't shouted you out, man. I always love talking with you. So Famous Amos saying, too busy spending all his money on the 40K to even bother with fantasy. Believe me, man, I'm right there with you. And Famous is also painting up terrain tonight. Matter of fact, I think you're the second person who said they're working on terrain tonight. Like, way to go. Robbie B would be happy for all the modeling and stuff. Like, yo, you just can't put all these cool models together. You got to have something to play them on. So, Kenny, Gabriel wants to know, is the Apocalypse Battle Report going to be up on YouTube?
I think it's. Oh yeah, it will be. I do have an event schedule, and we have enough content to take us through September while we're in flux looking for the new Beats Laboratory. The struggle is real. A Kickstarter will be happening this summer to help us, basically find the new home of the Long War. Because losing the Beats Laboratory, that's a big blow to our filming operation.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get out 2 new Space Marine videos before we did something that wasn't new Space Marines. We have done that. We've got a Gladiator Strike Force right now in the Hall of Veterans that's about to release to regular YouTube on Friday. We have obviously just did the Super Friends with the new with the new Librarians Conclave. We also have 1 more new Space Marine. So I think I'll drop the APOC game and then 1 more new Space Marine. Well, I do have another interesting Space Marine. We actually did a first company task force, which no one's really even talked about. That's the, basically, you can take all Stern Guard and drop pod list. And they're all fearless. So there's just some cool stuff no one's even seen. So we have a battle report coming out, 1,500 points, where I'm playing 2 Space Marine formations for the Task Force and the Storm Talon formation. No HQs, nothing. Literally just 2 formations, and it was pretty cool. But I definitely want to get this Apocalypse game out there because it's epic. But the way we filmed it, I'm not going to spoil anything. The way we filmed it is we filmed it on task. We filmed it like we would have filmed anything. So it's going to be a solid hour video, but it took 12 hours to play. Yeah. Normally, we're playing for 4 hours to get an hour. So it's a massive loss of content in a lot of ways.
Not a lot, bro.
But it had to be done because there's no way you're playing that scale of the game, and getting all the cameras in people's faces and slowing the game down. It would have taken 50 hours.
Yeah, but to be honest, nobody else has put it out. So everything we do, as everybody knows, is revolutionary. So I can't wait to watch it. I go back and listen and watch everything that we do. So I'm looking forward to it because I couldn't be there.
And that's one of the days you weren't there, yeah.
Yep. So Dan Raymond checking in, man. Thanks. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, the show can start now. Sean Brown, the CEO and director of Barely Tabletop Quality Painting Service. What's happening, Sean? Zach is saying that he is finishing up Acheron Night Titan. The resin is super heavy. Is working on some 30K Mechanicum stuff. Fresh.
Is that a local Zach?
I think that's other Zach. Zach, aren't you Zach that I talk to online all the time? But
he just recently got out of the hospital.
Yeah, but it looks like you have a different last name on this for some reason. That's what's confusing me. So hit me with a yes or no on that. But before we get too deep in it, I want to talk about something rules related right now before we keep talking about these people. Because Juice doesn't even know the full extent of the Dark Angel Codex yet.
Have you not seen anything yet, Juice?
Yeah, we went over a bunch last week, but not the full breakdown.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, you're gonna feel deja vu for one because a lot of the stuff that we had in that Space Marine Codex just rolled over, right?
Yep. And I was happy to hear, some of those formations and the squadrons of tanks and stuff like that. We also broke down how excited we were when you can have basically the 2 Predator and the Land Raider all as a squadron.
Yeah. I preview. We're gonna really break that down on the podcast recording tonight. I've already talked to Austin about it, about if that unit can be objective secure. If you have a vehicle squadron and just one vehicle in it has models in it that are objective secure, will the whole unit benefit from it? We have some compelling wording. We briefly talked about it last week. I don't want to talk guys' ear off, but I'm trying to give you a reason to listen to that podcast. We're going to break it down, and Austin is a master of proving or not proving a set of rules to get it done. So it's
whatever it is he goes hard in the paint on it. Yeah. I love it.
Yep.
So break it down. We did some top 10 and stuff like that, but Tim, What do you got right there? Let's look at it. I really love the
Tim,
fact
do you have a list that you're excited about?
Yeah, so when the original Space Marine Codex dropped, the 6th edition one, right, the one that we just got rid of, the first list I played out of it was Iron Hand's base, obviously, and I took actually a Ravenwing Command Squad with it because I feel like the Ravenwing Command Squad is probably the best.
One of the best bases for a Death Star Super Friends list.
Yeah. So for me, it's just a I guess another iteration of that. Basically, the Super Friends list that we had talked about before for the last one 2 weeks ago, using the Librarius Conclave, the Chapter Master out of Clan Roken, but instead of using the Space Marine Command Squad, I choose to use the Ravenwing one.
Because Ravenwing gives you hit and run now, right? Like straight up, right?
Yeah, I mean they're I guess we could say discount because you get the plasma talents over the grav guns, but you don't have to pay extra for them.
But they're good. They're good in different ways, and also they still get the Corvius hammer. That was gonna be a question I had for you.
Yeah, strength +1 and rending is.
So like strength 5 rending attacks is pretty clutch with close combat.
Yeah, 4 on the charge too. So
yeah, they're
a sizable amount.
Yeah, and that Corpus Hammer, that is a sick looking model.
It's a sick model, first off. Like, it's basically Tyrese from The Walking Dead. He's proven to me that the ultimate zombie apocalypse weapon is basically a 16-ounce tack hammer. The Corvius hammer is a 16-ounce tack hammer to a Space Marine.
Yeah. The confirmed hard counters typhus zombies.
Yeah, got it. Shit on them. And so that Ravenwing squad. So they get all the cool rules. They have hit and run. So it's a solid base because it solves a lot of problems in a limited source environment when you're trying to build a Super Friends list. You're like, how do I get hit and run now with chapter tactics? How do I do this? How do I do that? Do I have to go into Sisters Battle? No. These guys have it. So use this as your command squad with your apothecary to add your super characters to, is what you're saying, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So, I mean, what else? So I do like the Plasma Talons and I do like the Corvius Hammers. What HQ, like what else would you do out of the Dark Angels? Obviously, Samael?
I keep it. No, I wouldn't. I mean, Samael, I'm not going to say it's bad, but I'm not a fan.
Yo, Tim, I got a question, man. Like when we were looking at before the book was in our hands, what other HQs have the Ravenwing stamp or whatever that is?
So that was the first thing actually that I looked at when I got this codex in hand because I was curious about that too, and there are none. So I actually thought that maybe in the especially like the warrior section of the bike, it would have if somebody took a bike, they'd gain the Ravenwing special rule. But that's not there either. So as it stands, Samael is the only Ravenwing HQ in the Codex.
Now, is there any formations or anything out there that makes you take multiples that have this same... You can't take multiple Samaels, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, if you could, right?
Yep.
But no, unfortunately not, right? But at least with the formation that includes the Ravenwing HQs, you only need one as your compulsory, and everything else is optional. So you can still kind of make it work. You just don't get to, cheat with that Ravenwing and reroll Jink on some powerful unit.
Yeah, that's fresh. I mean, rerolling Jink and whatever else, throwing another character that gets that reroll saves to tank for you.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be a captain or anything else, it doesn't matter who it is their toughness 5 with multiple wounds and 2 or 3 up rerollable Jink save. Like any character is a tank now.
Yeah, no kidding, no doubt too, man. Like it's so. For me, whenever a new codex comes out, I always look for improvements, right? And I imagine that most people, when they look for a new army book when it's about to drop, is you're looking for rule improvements. And for the first time in my 40K playing career, it looks like the Dark Angels have some sort of relevancy in the comparison to the Raven.
And that's a really interesting point. I actually want to talk about that, Tim. Rules improvement. So I actually was like having an epiphany the other day. Sometimes I paint all day, all night, right? And I just think about things, right? One of the things I thought about was like, how ridiculous we are. We open up the new codex, right? And all you want to do is see basically universally every unit that'd be better, right? Like that's basically what we want as fans, right? Every time. Now, the interesting thing about that is that obviously they can't always do that, but they have to do that to evolve the game system. Think about simple things like a Space Marine squad obviously can't be what it was in 3rd edition. Why would we continue to give a shit if it was still 15 points a guy, all they had was a bolter, literally nothing else? You know what I mean? They have to come up with rules. Like, okay, the entire game, you're twin links. How about that? You're 14 points now. How about that? You're relentless on the turn you arrive. How about that? You know what I mean? Like, They have to. So they in order to keep a game system relevant, from edition to edition, codex release to codex release, every major push, they absolutely have to spice the rules up through points, through rules, through these new formations, everything. They have to, or the game would cease to exist. And that's how you make the game more spicy. That's kind of what's interesting about this like Sigmar stuff, from what I'm understanding, is like, yo, you thought you knew how to play this? How about this? We'll distill the rules down so that a 4-year-old can understand them. Remove points from the game, and let's play those Green Army Men games we used to play when we were a kid. You know, pew pew pew. Yeah. You didn't have rules for them, but let's just barely give them rules so you know how to play. But you can play anything you have. So if I had the tank and you didn't, you should have luck.
Yeah, no, for sure, and that's actually kind of a good segue into what Steve is saying. Thanks for checking in, man. How do you guys feel about the early 7th edition codices, and now with the new ones unlocking a bunch of crazy benefits?
Oh, I could dig into this one forever, man. All right, so personally, I think it's sweet, but I think it's sweet because of the formations specifically, right? I feel like the formations add something to 40K that I've always wanted it to be, and what I thought 40K was before I actually started looking at the rules and I was still reading stories. Which is, I expect an army that reads a certain way in the stories to play a certain way on the tabletop.
Ooh.
And these formations...
Poor Tim when he learned that's not how it works.
Right?
When a dude in power armor ain't nothing but a chump, but it only takes...
Wait, we're in the Grey Knight Codex before any of this new shit we had in 5th edition? Tim, because you didn't even start in 5th, did you? Or did you?
No, I started...
6th?
Like 3 or 4 months after 6th edition dropped.
Right, so before the 5th edition Grey Knight Codex, you want to talk about the worst shit ever? Was Grey Knights. But when you read about them, you were like, these guys could do anything except win a game.
Yes. Yo, literally, their stories were just one single Grey Knight. You know, him and a brother captain get dropped into a planet, and they're like, "Yo, we'll see you in a month, dog. Cleanse this planet." You know. And in real life, in gameplay, it would take 700 Grey Knights, and you know.
Yeah. In real game terms, you literally only had 5 Grey Knights on the table because they were so overcosted.
Yeah.
And they still are right now, right? The strike squads are ridiculous in terms of point cost, especially with these YouTube codices. They set a bar for power armor, and it's probably where it should be.
Strike squads are a little interesting because it's 110 points for 5, strength 6 force weapons. So like, if you actually can put a strike squad where you need to put a strike squad, they're not the worst thing ever. They generate a war point.
I think the strike squad got a lot better because the Dread Knights got a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. I was like, before, when I wanted to take 3 Dread Knights, which is what I always do, and I had to take 2 stupid strike squads to do it, I was a lot more furious about it than I am now.
Yeah, and in a world where we don't have allies or different CADs, that would be a really sweet argument. But
heard that, but anyway, continue breaking this shit down for us.
Yeah, so I've already lost track of what I was talking about, but yeah, the 7th edition codices, right?
You were talking about how you had preconceived notions of how an army would perform in the tabletop based on the stories.
Yeah, so for me, the power of 7th edition codices comes from their formations, so far, for the most part, right? And I like it, and I hope it continues. I don't see there any reason why it wouldn't continue. One, it gives incentive for us to buy new models, which is good for GW.
It's good for us. It's good for the hobby in general, yeah.
It gives us variety, like a variety in terms of ways to play. It gives us uses for older models that we didn't necessarily want to, or we couldn't use before. We didn't feel at a tournament level we would want to bring them.
All right, so real quick, Tim, I got this breakdown for you. Amos is saying he believes that the 7.5, this halfway through 7th edition, because who knows, 8th edition will probably be out in October, but halfway through 7th edition, these codexes seem to bring some life to armies that, you know, that they represent, versus the beginning, the first couple 7th edition codexes seemed a little lackluster. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, and it's hard to tell because these are kind of the these are like Ultramarines are kind of GW's dudes, right? That's like the golden child of GW's stuff. Even though when you look at the Eldar Codex, you might think that some of the rules that came out of there might justify that they might be the most powerful.
Yeah, church.
I have a quick
arguments
one.
we made.
I noticed that I see Coach in here asking about the Space Marine HQ command tank formation. Any thoughts? I don't know what that is. I don't have a Space Marine Codex in this house. Can one of you guys?
So that's actually not in the Space Marine Codex. The command tank thing is sold with rules in the box, if I'm not mistaken. and it uses a command Land Raider, and it has a command Rhino, and they have a bunch of special rules, and they give special rules.
Yeah.
And they're super good, but
is that the one where you get Skyfire if you're the Land Raider, etc.?
Yeah, but they're also really expensive. It's like 400 something points for that Rhino and that.
You'd be a lot better off with the Skyhammer Annihilation Force, Coach.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, big shout out, Coach, man. We miss you. We love seeing you tuned in tonight, man. Dan Raymond is saying, sorry I was late. Did Rob's cat get sick or something? No, Dan. This is another good part of the show to let everybody know. Robbie B is frivolously working to fix the down server that we have right now. We apologize for any inconvenience for everybody out there that they can't log on and can't check out everything we got going on. But it will be
I think this is a perfect opportunity to use your signature line, Juice.
Yo, just keep it icy.
Sometimes.
Right? Sometimes players fuck up, and Robbie B is trying to fix this right now for us. All right. So
that is the signature line that Juice hadn't been able to say until we just decided we have an explicit show.
Yep. Some players mess up. It's just not the same.
It's not the same.
it doesn't bring it home.
It doesn't really bring it home, no.
But it is true. Tim, thank you for filling in tonight. The show isn't over, but Robbie B, that's where he is, and that's what he is doing. He literally won't sleep. I know he's got Robbie B. Oh my goodness! In the mix of fixing everything, ladies and gentlemen, Rob Bear has signed in. Just to give everybody a shout out.
Is he in the chat?
Look, now first off, I'm about to disappear and show up at Robbie B's house. So, but there's a couple questions I wanted to get to. Here we go. San Geef. So he said, dude, you want to talk about 4th edition Space Wolf player? The underpowered codex struggle was so real. I remember, dog. Your codex had 4 pages.
Yeah.
And 2 of those pages were the front and back. So, oh man, what about the 4th edition? Man, 4th edition was my love. I'm a nib player, so everybody knows I love 4th edition.
If you guys got just a minute for me to tell you the 4th edition story, I got my dramatic lighting.
Yo.
Here it is. 4th edition taught me everything I know about Warhammer 40K. It taught me who I am as a player. Because I was one of those guys who played 3rd edition and was reveling in the ease of Rhino Rush, tactics, assaults, getting out of the vehicle, just being able to strangle people, you know what I mean? 3rd edition was easy and didn't have any real, strategies. When we went to 4th edition, I sucked. I was terrible. I couldn't go to it. I'm crushing every tournament there is.
Yo, they introduced hellified cover compared to what 3rd edition was.
Oh, my God. Because I was an assault player. And I was so resistant to change. I want to say for the first 2/3 of 4th edition, I was so stubborn, and I went from winning every tournament I went to going 1-1-1 at a 3-round tournament. For every tournament, I just was so furious. And then one day, I finally sat down and just had a heart with myself, and I was like, "Why are you trying to play 3rd edition when it's 4th edition? What are you doing? This is a different game. You need to have more options." You need to have more tactics, and this is when we talk about the option select, my Street Fighter reference, being able to know which options you have and which ones to select. You need to have those, because if your only option to select is run across the table with rhinos and get you, that's not going to work now, because the game's bigger. It's a different game. So I made a change. I made a more diverse list, and I didn't even tell you the list I played. I remember the day I made the change. I had 2 Defilers with indirect fire, 3 Rhinos with Plague Marines in them, 1 squad of Plague Marines that had the veteran ability to infiltrate, so that 1/3 of the missions had infiltrated them, and the guy in that squad was could summon a greater demon, and then I had the super demonic statured lord with infiltrate that could charge you on turn 1, and I had 3 squads of plague bearers that can deep strike in off icons and charge you that same turn. So they also could come in off those banners in an infiltrate mission. It was just really unique. I started playing that mission, started winning all my games. The game I was playing before was just 6 rhinos full of plague marines. That was it. I would come across the table and try to get you. I got tabled. I got tabled for the first time in almost my entire life, and I couldn't win again. The second I gave myself options that were realistic in the environment and started playing to the edition, I started having success and stopped being, frustrated. And then I made a promise to myself. I said, I will never do this again. I will never be resistant to the edition change. I love this game, and I love more things about this game than just playing it. I will never be pigeonholed into a belief of how it should be played. I will always embrace how it is played. And I moved forward to the 5th edition, didn't even hesitate. Immediately changed my army, hobbied out, bought them out. Fine. GW makes us buy new models to play the edition. They are literally a business that needs to make money. Got it. I bought the new models, wheeled and dealed, traded this, traded that, got the discounts I needed, made a new army in 5th edition. I won my very first tournament in 5th edition. Straight out the gate. Because I did not let myself be resistant to change. And kept pushing through to 6th edition. When 6th edition dropped, I said, well, none of this 5th edition shit works anymore. Same thing. And now we're in 7th edition, literally won't play. I don't play games now. I don't play games while playing my game. That's what I have to say. Anyway, that's all I want to say. Like that is something that is in my mind about like philosophy-wise in this game. Don't be resistant to the change. Embrace the change, and everything will work out.
That message was brought to you by Kenny's Corner. Tune in next week to see what new message awaits.
Mr. Kenny's neighborhood.
Yep. Absolutely.
There's nothing inappropriate about my neighborhood.
So I want to go back. Steve says that we kind of missed what he was talking about with the codexes. So I want to go back and make sure we hit this up. So he was referring to the seemingly huge difference between the early 7th edition codexes and the newer ones. They didn't have any of the utility that the new ones have.
Oh yeah, they don't even have the same layout. Yeah,
are those first 7th edition releases dead to Kenny?
Man, I haven't used that term in a while, man. But it's like, think about orcs. I was just talking to Mark Parker 2 days ago, who is one of the greatest tournament players of our generation. Like Mark Parker won 5 GTs when GW was still doing the GTs.
Yeah, with different armies.
Different armies. They say once you won a GT, you had to do it with a different army. He won it with 5 different armies. He's the truth. He's an orc player through and through. His email address is still stormboy@aol.com. There's a number in there I'm not going to throw out so people can't spam email him with weird stuff. But hit me up after the show. I'll tell you his email. But he's old, so it's AOL.com, but it's still orc. This guy hit me up yesterday. He's like, I think the orc codex is dead to me, dog. He's like, it just doesn't hang with these new 7th edition codexes. It's got the layout, it's got this and that. He's like, dog, all you can do is play Green Tide to try to win games, and you still get shit on by half the things that exist. And this is like, I'm talking, this guy is official orc. This guy still has stormboy@aol.com as his only email address.
No, that would be like me hanging up. Like, I've done it before. I did it right when the new edition came out, and like Kenny said, because I wasn't prepared to change with the times. But, I mean, that would be like me literally saying, I give up on kids. Yo. Man, that's clutch. Yeah, but, Steve, no, I think the first couple codexes are dead to me. To be honest, also...
I would tell you what. I'm not going to say they're dead to me. I'm always going to say this. Play for the love. I still play Chaos Basement Codex. That's 6th edition. Like, yeah. Isn't that the first 6th edition codex? It was Chaos? Or 2nd? Or something like that? I'm literally still playing 60% of my games with one of the first 6th edition codexes because I play for the love. When you play for the love, you can make things work, but let me tell you, you're going to have a different struggle.
So, speaking of guys in Power Armor, Lamont wants to know, with all the Power Armor Codex books out there, which of these do you see as being the strongest and which is the weakest? Now, I would like to lump in, that includes Space Marines, it doesn't matter, anybody with the Power Armor.
Okay.
I'm going to say Sisters of Battles is the most OP book out there.
They're actually, it's funny that you say that joke, they're one of the best allies out there for anyone. Yeah. Anyone trying to play a Death Star? Super Friend style list in a 2-source environment, not an unlimited environment, Sisters can be OP. Because you can take Say Celestine for your hit and run, you can take Uriah Jacobson or a Minestrone Priest.
To get all the rerolls?
With the Litanies of Faith, they give you automatic pass to litanies, so they get to reroll all their vulnerable saves. As an ally, because you get to take one of these priests for an HQ. So it's not 2 HQs. So for an ally choice, then you can take your 1 5-man sister squad. Then you can take the what's the elite squad? The
Dominion.
The Minion squad has scout without having infiltrate, so they can scout up, and you can attach all your independent characters from Company of the Great Wolf to them. You can literally take 4 Iron Priests and 4 Wolfguard Battle Leaders with all their wolves, and they can all join that squad and scout for 12 inches in a redeploy with, say, South time. Literally, if you're talking about a 2-source environment, System Battle is OP as shit.
I like it. So what would you say, Tim? What's the best?
All right, so I personally feel so far that the Space Marine Codex by itself is the best, mostly because of the Librarius Conclave as well as the Skyhammer Formation.
Okay.
Yeah, those two things are pretty good.
Yeah.
What about the weakest?
It's a good question. So I am not super brushed up on Blood Angels, so I will set
Blood
that aside.
Angels are strong because it's an allied choice too. I would say honestly, like as far as power armor options go, Grey Knights are really gimmicky.
Yeah, I would probably say that the Grey Knight Codex in terms of the power armor side is.
But it's hard to tell. Like, let me lose one game against Dark Angels with my Super Friends list, and then I'll get back to you on how I feel about Dark Angels. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dark Angels are amazing with all their reroll cheek saves and everything, but I don't play an army that shoots. Like, let me tell you what ignores cover. You know what I mean? Yeah. Close combat.
Four squads Legion of the Damned doesn't care if you have a rerollable cover save or not.
Yeah, first off. So I'm just saying it's like, I mean, I have to see a Dark Angels tournament win before I'm convinced that Dark Angels is top 3. Like, right now, because Company of the Great Wolf is definitely more OP than Dark Angels. Company of the Great Wolf is probably the most ridiculous thing there is. Like, even more, like, Space Marines is awesome, but it has all these pages of rules that are amazing. Company of the Grey Wolf is like this one force organization chart that is OP as shit. Like, it's ridiculous. Especially when you talk about tournament play that restrict how many, detachments you get. Company of the Grey Wolf might be number 1.
Yeah, I like where your head's at with that. Jonas is basically was thinking right where I was is the Dark Eldar with the 7th edition. They got formations, they got pretty good, but GW had to learn how to make rules more spicy, and that's exactly because the Dark Eldar does not have it. In my opinion, they are the basically the best ally for Eldar possible just because of Webway Portal. But to be honest, I don't feel that. I think that's the down spiral that we saw with them.
Tim, how clutch is that though? Like you were talking about some getting into the game stuff. My brother brought something up that you reminded me of. He was like, I love allies because I could just make like 500 points of this, 1,000 points of that, and just know what I need for a situation. Dark Eldar are situational army. Like they augment certain things with their Battle Brother rules. Like Company of the Grey Wolf. I don't play it as an army, I play it as an ally. You know what I mean? Like that's something that's interesting. Like it's actually hard to dismiss anything in the world of allies. That's why I get disappointed when a tournament tries to restrict how many of them I can take.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes now I think we went in and I don't even know where I stand, whether it should be full open, what kind of restrictions or stuff like this. But I do know 2 restrictions is not it.
If you're going to restrict it, it's going to be a lot more than that.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man, like let's get over that. Yeah, there's too much going on right now to restrict something just to 2 sources or whatever you want to call it.
I guess I don't know too much about the past of the Warhammer 40K tournament side, but having played like a lot of video game tournaments, we talk about League of Legends, we talk about World of Warcraft stuff. When I hear restrictions like this, from my perspective, I kind of feel like it's silly because one way or another you have a level playing field for all people, barring financial restrictions. But you don't play Games Workshop games if you don't have finances, period. So we could disregard that. But I feel like having a restriction doesn't super matter because when it's a tournament, you're going to break whatever's available no matter what. You're going to find the most powerful thing that you can play, and you're going to play it, and everybody else can play it too. I mean, you can restrict it if you want to.
Yeah, but I like what you're saying. Like, it doesn't matter once you start restricting it. It's literally people are going to find the brokenness out of it. So just I don't know. It's tough. So here's a good question from Coach at Family of Gamers. Guys, I can't stand allies. Seriously, they piss him off. Are there any standalone codices out there? Usually playing Ultras and Necrons. Yeah, I believe Necrons is one of those books that can be standalone.
Yeah, I think Necrons probably have a lot of stuff in there.
Yep. Standalone books, I feel confident even though I do ally with my NIDS. I think a NIDS is a standalone book. We've got all the flyers.
That's another one that came to my mind too. Yeah.
You know, we got all the flyers. We got all the objective secures. We got all, you know, our psychic powers kind of suck, but we still get psychic dice in that phase.
I think demons might be one that could stand on its own feet if you wanted to.
Now, I agree, especially with how strong their psychic phase is. And then also, as we just talked about, I think Space Wolves is a standalone because of Company of the Great Wolf.
Yeah.
So they're out there. You know, you don't have to. You can find, and maybe these new Space Marines with all these upgrades with Twin Linked and Skyfire and stuff like that these Predator squads can have. I think that's going to be a sleeper unit that we're going to see a lot of. Potentially, we looked at the points on it as like 310 points. You get basically 6 autocannon shots, Twin Linked, and 6 last cannon shots, not Twin Linked, but that have Skyfire. I mean, that's pretty clutch, right? I mean, Space Marines never had that before.
Yeah.
Basically, after the Tau book came out, where they gave everybody and their mother Interceptor and Skyfire, they basically fell off giving that to anybody else. So I'm so happy to see, you know, the sheriffs of 40K getting a little Skyfire.
Yeah, and Interceptor too in the Dark Angel Codex with that. I think it's the Raven Wings Support Squadron. I think the Landspeeder one. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Don't know. Robbie B and I, man, we're 2 peas in a pod. He chimes in and says, "Seems like Xenos are made to be standalone." I can agree with that. A Dark Eldar, or excuse me, the Eldar book is a standalone book. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, and they kind of play. You'd think it would play that way too, because a lot of the codices are built internally to be kind of synergistic. At least you would expect, and a lot of the rules do tend to work that way. And when it comes to Space Marine codices, by their nature, they're all power armor. They have the same vehicles. They have a lot of the same war gear. Half the war gear comes out of the 40K rulebook. So when you talk about allies, yes, you can cherry pick into the Imperial side, mostly because it's not all that different. You just take the one you want that has the better special rule.
Yeah, and you want to know what? I don't see that that's that big a deal, you know. But I don't think that we should restrict people from doing that if that's the joy that they get out of it, you know. That would be the equivalent in my mind back in the day, restricting, saying, hey, look, we're going to put a model cap on this game. You can only play with 100 models. You know, yeah. Where a Green Tide player or a NID player back in the day, we'd want to bring 200 Termagants, or we want to bring 180 Orcs. You know, like versus, hey, I played Grey Knights back in the day and I had an army of 7. You know, like so. I don't feel. Yeah, exactly. You know, like so. I don't feel that we should restrict people on how they want to play the game. But with that, I still will backpedal because some of this stuff out there is stupid.
I think that maybe 40K players in terms of national interest might be lacking something in terms of like an event that is not focused strictly on tournament play, that has more of a narrative background. I know that a lot of Apocalypse games, for instance, people generally, when they play Apocalypse, you tend to play a little more fluffy. You care a little less about the stuff that happens. You know, I really wish that I could see, like in trios events and stuff like that, I really wish that we could see that, and I would love to play in fluffy stuff and things like that. And we've done it. Kenny and I have been to a tournament at Robbie B's shop when he had it. You know, we played Blood Angels with Flamestorm Cannon. You know, this was Blood Angels when they sucked. You know,
the angriest Storm.
Yo, the angriest.
We were like, dog, nobody's gonna see this shit come. We're gonna get 2 Bale Predators with Flamestorm Cannons. We're gonna flank them. We're gonna scout. We're gonna fuck everybody up with them. Dog. We didn't get to shoot one of them.
No. For real, one guy almost got caught up the first turn.
Immobilized 9.4 inches away from the enemy. Like, I can't do anything.
Oh. And, yo, he almost slipped up, and he started moving his stuff like, yo, that's dead, isn't it? And I wanted to lie so bad. Like, yeah, it's dead. It's dead. But no, it's immobilized. Damn it.
But we did get to play with the original Clan Raukin Chapter Master Abuse, which is known as Corbulo. And we won the tournament because Corbulo literally took every wound for the entire army, forced his drink down everyone's throat around him, and literally 1,000 wounds, 1,000 armor saves. Got
it. Good to go. So, do we have the Space Marine book handy? Is that what we said? Or Tim, you're pretty close on it. Troy wants to know, does the Battle Demi Company have to have maxed out tactical squad, and or furthermore for the Gladius Strike Force?
Let's find out. Let me turn to that.
While you're looking that up, I'm just going to keep going. Black Tower Terrain, thanks for checking in, man. I apologize. I've seen you up there. I'm sorry I hadn't shouted you out. Saying you really enjoy the podcast. We enjoy having you, man. So Steve is following up on what we were saying, and a lot of Xeno's books appear to be standalone, and I completely agree. Gnarls, man, thanks for checking in. Coleman, have you guys ever went against a... Whoop, I just lost your question, Gnarls. I'm sorry. I think it is, have we went against a full Tau army? Is that it?
Full Tau. It's been a while since I've seen somebody with full Tau, personally. I obviously haven't been to any events lately either, but...
Yep, I'm sorry, Gnarls. I'm trying to... have you guys ever went against a full Tau suit list before? I'm sorry. Yeah, I've seen against full suits, missile size. They attach buff commanders to them, so they're kind of like bounced around. Broadsides, because broadsides can't move and shoot, so this is kind of the coolness about them. But ultimately, what happens is I've never once not killed a broadside unit, or excuse me, that unit with anything. A 3-up save, toughness 4. It doesn't matter if you have 2 wounds. Nobody's playing Tyranid Warriors back in the day. Nobody's playing them now, and they got 3 wounds. And granted, they only got a 4-up save, but ultimately it doesn't matter.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, the list I had seen with crisis suits mostly included 2-man crisis suit teams with the rest of the suits. Was the iteration I had come across. But in terms of the battle demi company side, so in both codices, we're talking about the Dark Angel one and the Space Marine Vanilla Codex. It has a stipulation for 0 to 1 in just about everything that clearly has some sort of optional stipulation to it. So for the Tactical Marine side, it has 3 tactical squads, flat. No 0 to 3, no 1 to 3, no 1 to 5, nothing like that. It's 3 flat. Has no addendum or stipulation in terms of maxing them out to turn 10-man squads, if that's what he's asking us. But it looks like 3 squads, anywhere between 5 to 10 man, just like you kit out anything you take in a formation, right? It says you take a land speeder and then you have all the options, associated.
Yeah, I mean that's essentially how they work. Is like when it's you get all the options. I mean, that's why I love that First Company Task Force. It's like take 3 units, at least 3 to 5 units in any configuration. You have Terminators and Sturguard and Vanguard on there. I was like, what?
Yo,
5 drop pods full to the brim of Sturguard.
Yo, this is hot off the press. My boy, big fan of the show, OBJ Tim, Objective Tim. We've got 2 Tims in here tonight. I love it. But OBJ is saying that you can have 5-man tactical squads in the game.
Oh yeah, I mean that's how I ran it the other day when I played against my buddy. I just 5-manned every squad I could and took as many blast cannons and assault cannons.
Who did you play against, Tim?
I played against a guy named Nick Bruss. I don't think you've met him yet.
I'm a little disappointed that I don't know who you played against. Who are you hanging out with behind my back?
These are guys that we have down here.
Down here? You literally live down the street from me, dog.
I know. He doesn't play all that much.
Down on that end.
And he actually played at Endless Gaming. Excuse me, can't even speak anymore. Endless Gaming tournaments twice, I think. He's still relatively new.
I've only played there once. Did I? Was he there that one day I was there?
I don't remember.
So Gnarls is also thinking, what do you guys are asking? What do we think about the Harlequin book? And I want to say it's garbage, even though I wish it was good. But they are way too expensive.
If you got to know who you were playing against this week in a league, and you got to change your entire race, and you knew you were playing me with my super friends, Harlequins are good in that one scenario, because you can't hit me with the -1 billion leadership dominate spam. That's the one combo that I'm afraid of from the Harlequins. Is got this guy here, this guy here, this guy here. You're -6 leadership, dominate. Now you have to take a leadership check every time you want to do anything. My super friends would literally not be able to do anything. It's like Juice. I'm having a vision of a flashback to an old battle report you and I did, where the old hallucination, your Death Star Terminator squad. And
straight up off the board.
Literally, you couldn't do anything because you couldn't move it for 2 turns. You lost the game because you had like an 1,100-point unit that couldn't do anything in 2 turns. That's the one thing the Harlequins are scary about, in my opinion. Anyone played a Death Star, Harlequins, if built properly, can be a hard counter to a Death Star.
I like it.
But that's it.
Yo, Coach has said it best. Matter of fact, I might get this tattooed on my back. I love this. Family of Gamers says, restrictions suck. Why don't we get rid of the psychic phase and melt-a-guns? Coach, word. Church. I love that, Coach. So he says Either way, yes, I love it.
Drew said something to me that made a lot of sense. I don't know if you remember saying it, but it resonated with me. It was when we were talking about invisibility is you hit on 5s, not 6s. 2 up rollables or 2 up to a 4 up. Okay, word. So you don't like those, so you want to change those. I don't like armies that can shoot more than 60 times a turn.
Sure.
You can never shoot more than 60 times a turn. That was something you said to me this one time. Chocolate wasted at somewhere. And I was like, damn, dog, that's real talk. You can't roll more than 60 dice in the shooting phase against me in a turn. That's my restriction.
Yep. You know what? Now they can't shoot that many shots.
Because
you want to keep those 2 up rollables in the game.
Because that's why they exist. Because you have armies that can. I mean, literally, we talked about this. I have a game that's coming out soon where I play old Iron Warriors. Back in the day, when you hit somebody with a defiler like a battle cannon, that was amazing because that was the only time you could ever get 6 hits that were AP3 on a unit. Dog. Basic grab spam armies are hitting you with 40 AP2 wounds a turn. It hits a turn. That just didn't exist. You need invisibility. You need shroud. You need all this jankery. Otherwise, you just get if you want to be an assault army, you just lose all your models on turn 2 every game.
Yep, exactly. The reason why that 2-up rerollable came about is because players were forced to deep in their beach laboratories, turn everything up on blast because they
couldn't beat Tau and Eldar.
No, they couldn't get through Tau. This was when 3 broadside teams full missiled out and the buff commander bouncing around plus fire warriors. You literally died.
Every time.
Every time. So
if you want to be able to play an assault army, don't hit me with, invisible? Dog, you literally have 100 shots, and I'm trying to move my entire army across the table to punch you in the face because that's my style. The way I can do that is with Psychic Powers. That's it. I beat people with Chaos Space Marines today multiple times because of invisibility and shroud. I can beat you right now with my ATC army, almost anyone with that army. If you don't metagame me, you just hit me with your list. I'll beat you right now, only because of telepathy. You take that away from me, okay? Well, the thing I love the most on this earth, the thing I've marked my flesh with, I don't even get to do that anymore.
Yeah. Think about it. And one more thing before I move on to the next comment is me as a NID player with flying monstrous creatures. I absolutely love all my hive tyrants, everything else, but they sucked last edition. You hit them with a flashlight and they fall to the ground and then you just slaughter them. Now they basically have invisibility, flying around. They have invisibility. So that's how come they're really good. They're really solid like that. I don't see that that's any kind of jinkery at all. It's just my model for 250 points is finally worth playing again.
Yeah.
So are you guys worried about going up against more than one Wraith Knight? Johannes is hitting us up with that. Jones, what do we think? More than one Wraith Knight. Yeah, I don't like it. To be honest, man, I was at a really bad place in 40K whenever that book just dropped because of all the D.
Yeah, you even were hard to pay talking about restrictions.
Man, I mean, it was bad. Not even gonna lie, I was not happy with the game at all. I was questioning my outlook on life. But I'm coming back around. I think those Wraith Knights and all that amount of D they have in is Arbok.
Something that we talked about earlier was look how crazy this is. Eldar comes out with the most stupid shit ever, and then Space Marines come out. Or sorry, not even Colt Mechanicus comes out with
Colt Mechanicus, the unsung hero of the galaxy now,
with the most grav gun shots of all time. Okay, well, word. And then Space Marines come out. Dog, that Gladius Strike Force army we broke down in the last podcast, check it out, episode 6. Will table any Eldar army on turn 1. If it goes first. Literally, looks like I'm going first. It will table any Eldar army on turn 1.
Looks like we're getting drinks in 15 minutes.
Dog, literally, all this shit we're worried about, gone, right? And now Ravenwing are out with their 2-up rollable Jinx saves and stuff like that. I guarantee Tal's gonna come out and they're gonna have Skitarii Colt Mechanicus I think this is my prediction for Marco Jones right here. I think that there are gonna be a lot less things that do them, but when you're marked, It literally, it's not like, oh, I've got 6 marks on you and I can do all these little things with them. I think it's going to be like, yo, if you're marked, the next unit firing at you gets the ignore cover special rule and preferred enemy special rule. I believe that there's not going to be any way to boost their ballistic skills to 1 billion. No ways to jank any of that crap around. I literally think it's going to be like you're lit up, like there's a spotlight on your unit. You don't get the benefits of cover, and we have preferred enemy. Just the next unit. Like, so people are going to be running around with these preferred enemy these 2-up rollable armies, and then Tao's going to come out and just completely ignore your cover. Like, that's my prediction for Tao. It's going to be invalid.
Yeah, I just know all the pain and sorrow that I had to go through with that book before. I just assume not ever see it come out ever again. Just let it get slotted.
It was so good that even GW couldn't help but back out buff commanders on monstrous creatures.
Oh my God.
For the love that is all holy.
For the love of everything, yeah. Oh my God. Yo, I got some exciting news. We got like the last 5 minutes. So I want to repeat myself for a third time. The server has been down. The longwar.net is fucked right now. To quote Juice, players fuck up. We've been doing some stuff, moving some things around, trying to bring new heat, and we messed up. The server will be back up tonight or tomorrow. Rob Bear is not here because he's working on it tonight, getting it done. He hasn't slept. It's been 24 hours. So the Long War still exists. It's coming back up. The login screen might be jacked up right now. We're bringing it back. Don't cancel your subscriptions, please. We have a new video that's dropping tonight. We have a new video for tomorrow. We got a podcast coming up tonight. Moving on. Here's the exciting news. I've been texting with Mike Haspel the entire time we've been talking.
Get out of here, Mike.
Mike Haspel is really, really interested in jumping in our podcast with us on a semi-regular basis. He was part of our other podcast we used to do with Force and Nader for a while. And now we moved into this Long War and bringing hobby back phase. We've got this new little setup. We talk about new things, but because he had a book deal and this and that, he was unable to keep on with us. Things have changed in his life. Things have settled down. He works on Wednesdays, but he's like, hey man, I would love to be a part of your podcast right now. That's exciting to me because nobody can tell a story like Mike Haspel.
Yo, Mike, man, love him to death. Super happy to hopefully be able to work with him if we can call this game with him soon.
That's right. Juice was our replacement to Mike Haspel. When Mike Haspel had to walk away, we picked up Juice to replace him, and now eventually Juice doesn't replace anybody in the Long War. Juice is the Long War. So,
so yeah, that'd be awesome. Ken, if you don't mind, I want to I just realized there's quite a few names in here. We got going with the Q&A. I just want to give a couple shout-outs. Jonathan Minos checking in, and he's actually wanted to know when we're moving over to Twitch. That is not off the block yet. We've still got that coming up. It's just with everything else going down, we just got to make sure that all our shit is super tight before we do, but that is definitely going on. Troy checking in. Band Family of Gamers, already did. I'm sorry, there's a couple other names that I saw. I apologize, I haven't gotten to you. Ash, we missed you last week, man. Glad to see you checking in. He says sorry for being late. Tim, I want to give a big shout out. Thank you for always coming through clutch. You were filled in phenomenally as our Robbie B book analyst and best looking man of the show.
Yes.
So we've got a lot going on. Please stick with us through the server being down, everything else. Gnarls, I want to hit your question before we leave, and then Fallen Cypher, I'm going to get to you too as well. Wow, I feel like I'm the only Tau player that doesn't run a giant broadside unit. That you probably are.
Yeah, first off,
I have to stop right now. There's 3 more sentences, but I have to agree with that. So I run crisis suit teams, which seem to be more effective. Having the jump, shoot, jump stuff is really solid.
In 7th edition, if you can't move, you can't win. I agree with you.
Yep. Standing there just shooting is just not out. Plus, I agree with you about the Harlequins. Yeah, no, completely. And then Fallen. Do you think the AdMech War Convent, the Flesh Terror Strike Force drop pods is good enough to compete with the Gladiator Strike Force and the Librarian Conclaves in Eldar?
Yes. Just yes.
Yeah, I mean the AdMech. Yes, AdMech War. Yes, I do believe, and Flush Terror Strike Force. Yes, I do believe that they can. It's going to be an uphill fight, but I think you can. And I said this a while ago. Can you guys believe how fast IG Astro Militarum has just been swept to the side? Yeah. They have literally, even though they got their book and everything else almost a year ago now, we have not seen anything really come from them. I am so shocked.
That's a good point.
Like literally nothing. They are like as if they don't even exist from people out there. Like it is so crazy. It was one of the most prevalent books out there in 4th, 5th, and 6th edition with Leaf Blower, Vendetta spam, Valkyrie stuff, people jumping out of stuff. I mean, it was unbelievable. They revolutionized the null deploy and coming in on turn 2. So I mean, I'm just so surprised to see how everything has changed. But guys.
Oh, go ahead, Tim. Tax, man. They're paying the tax from previous editions.
Yep, exactly. Everybody has their time. So, everybody, thanks for checking in. Tim, appreciate you being here, dog. It's always good seeing your beautiful face.
Basically, Juice and Tim oftentimes look like they're brothers to me.
We actually are.
We talked about how you guys are very sexy.
He doesn't know it, but he's part Portuguese, and I don't know it, but I'm part Japanese. So
AKA we're all brown. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here tonight, and we will see you soon.